Hi, welcome. I'm Jessie Walters with Charles Rutenberg. I'm here today to talk to you guys about the market, the crazy real estate market. As you guys know, we had done the figures for Pasco, Pinellas, Hernando, Hillsborough, which is like the Tampa Bay area, for how many homes were available. I did this a couple months ago because there was such a shortage, and we kept trying to compare them. I have my notes on my phone, so I'm going to kind of refer to them. But basically, we had talked about, because of the shortage, you guys were, how many are available? How many, how many are available and in the area? So we did this little comparison. It was, the ones we did was between $1 and $300,000 in Hillsborough, Pinellas, Pasco, Hernando. And was there any single family residences and how many were available? We kind of went back and forth so you guys could see, kind of get an idea of what the market was like as far as shortages and stuff like that. Now, when you compare Pasco to Hernando, there's, of course, a big difference because the prices, the more south that you go, the more the prices go up. So if you're in Hernando, you're going to get a better price per square foot than if you're in Pasco. And if you're in Pasco, you're going to get a better price than Hillsborough or Pinellas County. So this is, if you're in this area, you know. If you just moved here, you don't know, but the more north you go, the more bang for your buck you're going to get. So we did this analysis a couple months back, like I said, and we looked at houses between, in Pasco, between 0 to 200,000. So every day I go on the computer because I have a mental problem when it comes to real estate. And every day I go on the computer and I look from 0 to 200,000 in Pasco County to see if there's any single family residences that are cement block. In Pasco County, there was one, and in that was cash only. And in Pasco County, the rest were all mobile homes and condos. So of course, Pasco County is Zephyr Hills, Westview Chapel. We won't go into exactly where some of the condos and stuff are, but let's just say that there was a couple condos available at some nudist colonies. So if you guys are interested in some bargains, but you're not really nudist, there are nudist colony condos available, which I got a kick out of because there's nothing available, but there was some in there. So anyway, in Pasco County, there was 1,726 homes for sale, which are mainly mobile homes, and then condos and villas that were from 0 to 200,000. Now there was, the increase is that there are more for sale now, as you know from last time I did this. We went through Pinellas County, there was from 0 to 300,000 because I know that there's, of course, it's more expensive there. So there was 411 homes available in the whole of Pinellas County. And then most of them are condos. So there's 253 condos, 80 single-family homes, which are single-family residence, or block or wood home. And then mobile homes, there was 25 or 27, and then villas, there was 19. So in the whole of Pinellas County, yesterday, there was 411 that were for sale. Now that's not including the ones that are pending, that are off the market pending and stuff. But so that kind of gives you an idea from with Pinellas County. Then in Hillsborough County, again, from $1 to 300,000, there's 387 homes available in the whole of Hillsborough County. And by homes, I mean condos, there's 116, mobile homes, there's 21, single family, there's 188, villas, there's 4, and then the rest are like miscellaneous. But so 387 homes in the whole of Hillsborough County between 0 to 300,000. Now the reason I do the 300,000 mark is because the typical home sale, of course, they went up, and now the new median is around 300,000 in most of these areas. So, so we get to Hernando. You'll love this one. In Hernando County, now we did it from 0 to 300,000, 91 total homes for sale. 15 of those are mobile homes, and then you have single-family residences, 56, villas, and then the rest are condos. So you have 91, and that's from 0 to 300,000. Now, it sounds like there's a lot, but if you figure, as a real estate agent, we all have probably, we're working with like between 5 to 10 active buyers. And when you narrow that down, 9 realtors later, that's the whole quantity in Hernando County. So then I thought about it, and I'm like, well, the prices have gone up quite a bit. So let's take it up a notch. Let's take it to the 600,000 mark. So let's narrow it between 300 to 600,000 in Pasco County. So we're looking for a house between 300 to 600,000. There's 586 that meet that criteria. 15 are mobile homes. 15 are condos. 24 are mobile homes. Now we're finally hitting the single-family residences. So if you get into 300 to 600,000, you're actually going to get a cement block home or a wood frame home. So most of them are. That's where the bulk is. 477 are the single-family residences. Townhouses, you got 55, and villas, you got 13. So that was in Pasco County. So there's 586 between 300,000 and 600,000. So it kind of gives you an idea. If you're not finding any, it's not your realtor, it's just that there's not a lot for available, but there are more now than there was. So then we will go to Pinellas County, 300 to 600,000. There's 810 total. 188 of them are condos. You have a couple mobile homes, and then the bulk is the single-family residences, which is 550. Townhouses, you got 42. Villas, you got 10. So again, in Pinellas County, 300 to 600,000, 810 residences available, which is not a lot as far as our inventory used to be, Then again, I want to do Hillsborough. So between $300 to $600,000 of homes price range, there's 1,186 total for sale. So you got more in Hillsborough County, and of course it's a denser population. They fit. You fit more in the Tampa area. Condos, you got 44. Mobiles, you got 10. Single family, you got 1,006. Townhouses, you got 96. So you figure in townhouses, you almost got like 100 of them in there. Villas, you got 16. So that's 1,186 between 300 to 600,000 in Hillsborough. And now if we break this down, this isn't saying that you're getting some mansion for 300 to 600,000. It could be, this is everything. So from 1 bedrooms to 5 bedrooms, or, to unlimited bedrooms, but probably not 5 bedrooms, 300 to 600,000. So when we get to Hernando has the most between 300 and 600,000. So they got 5,000 plus available. You got condos, you got 642 mobile homes, you got about, let me add that up real quick, like 155. Villas, you got 200. Townhouses, you got 594, and the rest are single family residences. So so when you do the math on that, if you really need a house and you want more bang for your buck, it basically equals that Hernando County. You're going to have more of a selection, more stuff for sale in there with the Hernando County and stuff. So the $300,000 to $600,000 range is going to buy you a bigger home, more square footage, and like I said, the more north you go, the less it is. So you got like Hernando, you got Homosassa, but when you start getting to Citrus County, depending where you're at, most of that is going to be less expensive too, or around the same price per square foot as Brooksville, which is Hernando area. But I just thought it was interesting that we are increasing on the inventory, but it still is limited. And of course, as we know, the typical home sale went from 1 year ago, just in Pasco County, to give you an idea, typical home sale was 160, the average. Now the typical home sale is 213 in Pasco County. And again, we're not talking a Taj Mahal, we're talking probably a 2-bedroom, 1-bath, or 2-2 for the 213. So that basically increase is 19.4%. Now, before that, the increase that we knew as realtors was always 4%. If people would ask, how much do you think my house will go up? It was just, and the average was always between 2 and 4%. So you'd say 2 to 4 to be safe, but most of the time people got an increase on their investment or their real estate investment of 4% standard. Now it's, average is 20%, and some even higher, They're saying in Pasco County, this is where I got the status on this, that the homes recently sold were 115, which sounds like a lot, but when there's, again, realtors, I mean, we have 2,300 realtors in my office now. So if you figure homes recently sold 115 and we have 2,300 in our office, you can definitely see that there's a shortage. There's people moving here all the time, and there are still bidding wars going on. And we're going to talk about that, the predictions of the summer market and stuff. But when I go to, if I have buyers or when I have buyers, the actual bidding wars are still, there still is highest and best by Sunday. There still is, actual, are you gonna waive the appraisal? Are you gonna shorten that inspection? What are you gonna do to sell your buyers? So we'll go over that again. I always try to give you guys tips on how to do that, and not to get get just discouraged on it. A lot of buyers turn into Eeyore, I always say, because they're like, we're probably not gonna get it, and we'll put a bid in, but it's probably not gonna be for us, and try to stay positive. I'll give you guys some tips on what to do to actually win that bid at the end of this. But anyway, so the predictions and the bids process we're going to talk about, and we're going to talk about the median price of what they expect for next year too. So we can actually talk about the one thing which is a hot topic is whether or not the recent spike in the mortgage interest rate is going to affect the home purchasing, and that is basically what I always say will slow the buyers down, because basically if you were, we went over this before, but if you were approved for 350 and the interest rates go up 1%, then you may only be approved for 320. So you need to get with your lender and make sure, if you were on the cusp of that approval, to make sure that you're still approved for that same amount that you've been searching for, so you don't have bad news, and so when basically the interest rates go up, it does slow the economy, and that's kind of how, the economy, we're all thriving and it's free money. The interest rates start to go up, and you'll see kind of people dwindling off because they can't get the house that's 350 anymore. They don't want the house that's 300. They drop off as buyers. Now, when all that happens, when the buyers start saying, well, I'm going to wait, and the interest rates start going up, what actually happens is the real estate market starts to slow. So with that being said, the real estate market is still thriving, but you have a lot of buyers who are getting very, very frustrated and saying, you know what, let's wait till next year. And of course, we're in the summer season too. So a lot of realtors in my office have reached out to me and said, what do you do to stay busy? I'm not busy at all. Some realtors haven't made sales, from last year based on because the buyers, it's such a hard, actually, to get your buyer a deal right now. How do you make it through that? And like I said, I'll give you guys some tips on that. If you're new realtors, don't be discouraged. I always say, don't give up your day job if you're going to go 100% in. With the craziness that we have right now, it's really hard for realtors just to jump in. And I know on the news and I guess the stigma of being a real estate agent is that, oh, you're killing it. Everybody's killing it. Well, if you've been in the industry a long time, you get repeat sales. You get people always calling you, and it's great. I always say, blessed to be stressed. But when you're a new realtor and you're trying to build up a book of business, it's kind of a hard economy or, real estate market right now, just to jump in, to know how to do bidding wars, to know how to present something where it looks better than everybody else. These are things that there's classes for, obviously, but it's hard just to jump in, quit your job, and look 100%, for actually like being a selling agent or being a buyer's agent, and then presenting these offers and not really knowing what you're doing. I have a bunch of them that I've told, and if you guys are watching right now, I always tell you guys, keep your job, even if you can go part-time, do real estate part-time. It's not a dream for your customer. If you're an agent and they're part-time, you're getting part-time help. But a lot of times, like I've had like firefighters, and they don't want to quit their day job. I don't blame you in this market right now, because it is very hard when you're going against 10, 15 buyers at a time. So basically, keep your day job. Do this on the weekends or in the evenings, and a lot of people like evening realtors that go out in the evenings and the weekends, obviously, because it's such a crazy market and stuff. But like I said, I'll give you guys tips on how to get those deals. But as you can see, the market is, it's funny because the interest rates are going up, there's more inventory, and it's still exactly like the same as far as the wars. And, I don't know, I watch the news, but I don't know if it's all accurate. But for the Tampa Bay area, we're still having, 6, 8, depending on which county, could be 10 to 20 if you're in Hillsborough, Pasco. But you're still having, Hillsborough or Pinellas. If you're in Pasco, there's still, between which area, depending which area, 5 to 10 actual buyers going against you. So you need to know how to put that offer together. And then Hernando, you're still getting 3 to 5. Most of these areas where the high, the bidding wars are going to be your residential, I hate to say cookie cutter neighborhoods, but cookie cutter neighborhoods. You want to look around, you want to see what people overpaid around this area to kind of give you a margin of how much you'll need to go over. But like I said, I'm going to give you guys some creative financing on how to actually get those actual bids and stuff. But we're going to talk about, will the housing market stay hot? And right now, it's as hot as the summer. It's as hot as the summer heat. So you guys stay tuned, and we will go over some bidding tips. And I'm going to talk to you again about the housing market predictions. So I'm going to get out my crystal ball on the second part, and we'll talk about that. And if you're selling or buying, it'll give you a good idea whether you should stay in the market or wait a while. Stay tuned. Welcome back. I'm Jessie Walters from Charles Rutenberg. I was just talking to you guys about, what's available, what's not available, as far as housing and stuff. And I know everywhere I go, even if I go to Publix, they say, is the market going to crash? Is the market going to crash? What do you see? And I find myself, especially if I have my Charles Rutenberg shirt on or my name tag, to give the prediction of the future, which I think I did. I don't want to brag on myself. I don't want to say it, but I think I did nail it last year when you guys kept asking me. And I said, yeah, it's going to keep going up. It's going to keep going up. I know they have economists, economic majors who also, obviously, that's what their job is, to tell you guys, is the market going to crash? Is the market not going to crash? And they were wrong, but I was right. So, I'm just a little realtor. What do I know? But I have been doing this for 16 years. So I've seen the market crash, and I've seen, this unique market that we have now. And I feel like if you were in the crash, you see a couple different signs of the market looking as if it could possibly go like the 2002, 2006 to 2008, somewhere in there. But what's not, if you think about 2006, 2008, if you guys remember, we started to see like a lot of cars on the side of the roads for sale. We started to see like boats everywhere for sale, boats, and we started to see RVs for sale. We started to see, people ripping their kitchens out of their houses at garage sales. we started to see, if you stopped at a, because I would stop at garage sales to try to get the listings, I would walk in and the kitchen cabinets that were on the wall literally be stepping over them at the front door of these houses with, oh, come inside, we have more for sale. I'd see them selling their refrigerators out of their houses. I've seen them selling, like I said, the lights off the walls. You walk into a house, there's wires hanging, there's no kitchen, there's no appliances, everything's ripped out. So, I mean, we have not seen anything like that. I haven't seen any crazy garage sales. Have you guys? We haven't seen anything going on like that where it's hinting that there's possibly a crash in sight. But what we've seen right now is we have seen the interest rates go up, which, again, that's how they control, basically the economy is to raise those interest rates. And when those interest rates start going up, you get less free money. Back in 2006, 2008, the interest rates, I mean, people were paying 10% for money. I've seen people pay 12 to 18% investors just to get money so that they could flip a house, back then. And it's crazy because the houses are the same prices, and in some cases even more than it was in 2006 and 2008. But the lending is more scrutinized. If you're a buyer, you feel like you're being picked on. They want your credit report, which was always a thing. Then they want your bank statements, which was always a thing. Then they want, right before closing, the day before, oh gosh, they want your bank statements again. That was not always a thing. And then they want your proof of employment in the beginning, and then they want to call right, a day or two, get that proof of employment again. I think a lot of people think, well, they're not going to know, and they're going to know. So now is, now is the time not to try to pull a fast one on the lender. Lenders are scrutinizing things more so that we don't have the fall like we did 2006, 2008. The 2006, 2008, I remember you could buy a 3-bedroom, 2-bath for, some places $150 to $250. It was a very nice home. 3-bedroom, 2-bath now is going to cost you probably $330 to $600, depending on which county that you're in. A nice one and stuff. So, and even at $330, I feel like the ones I've been looking at for $330 have needed roofs or maybe AC or something like that. But so do I think it's going to crash? No. Do I think it's going to, we'll say, level out, which just sounds so vague. Like, what exactly is leveling out? Well, so say, I always say, what's your dream price? When I'm listing a house. So someone's dream price might be $500, and I'll say, well, it's only going to appraise for $465. So I feel like if you put it at $500, it's going to deter a lot of people because they already feel like they're overpaying now. Your dream price is too high. So let's put it at $475. And now the problem is if you put it at the $500, someone's dream price, because their neighbor's house sold for $500 even though they had a pool and you don't, or some justification that your customer has. And I know when we all sell, our stuff is always worth more, and that's a general, my stuff's worth more because it's mine. I always say that. My customers laugh, but it's true because you love your stuff. You love your house. Maybe your kids, you raised your kids, and maybe you feel like your layout's better than your neighbor, and they got, why are they getting more? Well, most of the time it's because they're getting more because their house is maybe larger square foot, or maybe it has a shed, in the back, or maybe it has a pool. But usually the realtor will have some justification of why they're telling you $475. So if you put it at this $500 price, what I'm seeing now is people doing that and then a reduction. So when you put it at this dream price, and then you have maybe 3 or 4 people come out, and it should be a bidding war, bids should be due by Sunday at 6, and you're having no one come out, it's because you may have overpriced it with your dream price. I have one customer, she'll laugh if she's watching this, because she said, can you pull the comps on my house? I said yes. So I go out there, beautiful house. It was worth $650, $620, somewhere in there. So let's just say $650. I tell her, and she goes, well, I'd only sell it for $1 million, because if it's not $1 million, I don't want to move. Can you list it for me? So as a realtor, it does put you in that situation where other realtors are kind of like, hey, where'd you get your comps at to get this $1 million house that we know is worth at the most, if all the faucets and stuff are 14 karat gold inside the house, it might be worth $700,000, but you want $1 million for it. And so, so you have to justify it, but you also have to tell them, possibly my seller may have priced this home themselves, and I don't even think you have to say that, but there's a couple of them I've seen. One is, I won't mention the realtor's name, but one is realtor owned, and it's in a residential neighborhood, and the houses don't go, I haven't seen them go for more than like $430, and hers is $800,000. It's still on the market, it's still overpriced, and it looks bad if you have to reduce, but I mean, some people have that dream price, and they're only going to sell and relocate to Tennessee, Georgia, North Carolina if they get this $1 million. But if you have a smart realtor, they're going to price it right at where it's going to appraise out at. And the reason that you want to have them do this is because, so say your house is worth $475. If someone comes in and says, I'll give you $485, isn't it easier to say to your buyer, well, I listed it where it was, you're the one who wanted to overpay? Or is it easier to say to your buyer, I overlisted it for $500, you gave me $485, and I overpriced it, now it's appraised at $475. It's easier to talk to your buyer if they put the money on top of the price and you put it out at fair value, if that makes any sense whatsoever. So you don't want to necessarily overprice your house, you want to list it right where it's going to appraise. If someone wants to give you more than you actually listed it for, well, I mean, literally that is on them, and that is the market, unfortunately, too. So, but if you put it right at the appraised value and the appraiser comes in and is generous, they give you a little bit more to the $485 that the people decided that they'd overpay from $475 to $485, or if not, if they have an appraisal waiver, which we'll get into on the last part of the segment of if you're a buyer, how to actually get your offer through. I've gone over that a couple times, but I always run into people and they say, how are you actually closing sales? How are you getting them? And I'm going to give all my secrets away on that, the last half, which will kind of get you guys on the edge of your seats of how to get those bids through and stuff. But yeah, it's an interesting market. You have to price things correctly, or your house is going to sit a little longer. 27 days is the average. Which I don't really see. I see them from, that's the statistically average for the Tampa Bay area is 27 days. So I know mobile homes take a little longer to sell. Land sometimes will take a little longer to sell, but most everything I see literally is less than a week right now with my eyes. Statistically, it says 27 days, but the stuff that I see that I list, the stuff that my buyers buy is usually 4 days tops. So if you see a property and your buyer likes it and you can't get out there for, till the weekend and it's Monday, probably won't be available by the weekend unless there's a bid deadline and someone's going to wait. So you're going to want to, if you see a house that your buyer likes, you want to get out there as soon as possible. If you have an agent who says, let's just throw an offer in, let's not even go out. Again, we'll go over it later, but the agents don't, sellers agents don't like to see a buyer's agent who hasn't even stepped foot in the door. So in other words, if you're from out of state, I've done this with all my out-of-state buyers. I have one this afternoon. I have to go to Newport Richie and look at one, and actually it's right here. And this house I'll be showing to myself. I'll either be doing WhatsApp because they have Androids, but if they have, the Apple phone, then we do FaceTime, and I'll go through the whole house with them. If they're unable to, because they work, if they're unable to look at the house with me, I'll do a video, short video clips so they can get it on their phone. I'll send them like 10 of them each room. And so that's what you have to do. So if you're a buyer's agent and you just say, and this is a red flag if you're a buyer and you're like, how come we haven't got any of the houses? You don't want your buyer's agent just to go, let's throw an offer in, the pictures look good. you want, your buyer's agent isn't a contractor, but you want them to put their eyes on it at least for you. And that selling agent definitely wants to see that buyer's agent did a FaceTime, did a WhatsApp, did a video, put their eyes on it for you, because they, I've had them say, just, I'm glad to see you out there, even though your customers aren't here. I appreciate that. We have offers, blind offers right now. We're not going to take them, because the chances are on blind offers, when someone flies in from out of state and they're like, this is my house, the chances of them with that $1,000, or it could be $5,000 deposit, if they get there and they hate your house, they will, obviously you might end up with their deposit, you might be able to keep their deposit, but at the end of the day, time is money. You get $1,000, you're off the market, 30 days, and your buyer hates the property. So you want to make sure that that buyer's agent on every sale and every offer, your buyer's agent goes out and puts eyes on it, even if you're out of state. Even I have one right now, she's in Alaska. I told her I'll send her videos, because there's, last night she was texting me at 10 and it was only 6 o'clock in Alaska. So, we're not going to FaceTime at 11 o'clock in the morning, because what time would it be there? Like 10, no, what time would it be? Be like 6, would it be 6 or 7? I don't know. I'm not good on this time thing, but let's see if it was 4, 6, 11, 4, yeah, it's 4 hours. So I'm not going to go there at 11, and then she's there at 7 when they have, small kids and stuff like that. And they're Alaska. I don't know, is it all day? It's always light there. I forget what it is with Alaska, but I know that she's like, I'm not going to call you any later, because she's still wide awake. And it's 10 o'clock for us last night. And it's always like, my phone's going off. Who's on there? So my poor buyer, but I will go through and do videos for her and send them to her. And that's how we'll do it. But, if you're a seller and you have a buyer and they're buying it blind, or the other red flag is they call them hedge funds. You won't know. It'll just say, the letter will just say, hi, I'm representing this buyer, and it'll be we have a cash offer and we can close in 2 weeks. And it sounds fantastic when you get that in, because you're like, oh, it's cash, and it's a pretty decent offer. It's not always your best offer, but it's cash, and so it's a for sure thing. So on these agents, you want to be aware that these offers that come through, that they're going to basically beat you up on the home inspection. So what they do is they come in and they send a home inspector with like a fine-tooth comb and like a duster, and they make this list, and this list is always, I want to say, I don't know, at least, I've seen them at least 20 to 40,000 under the cash offer that they gave you. So if you have a seller who already counted the money and already spent it prior to actually getting it, they're probably going to take this offer. You're going to be really frustrated. They're going to take off the repairs, 20, 40,000. They're going to justify those repairs. Or you're going to have a very frustrated seller who's going to tell you that, why did we take this offer? Or we took it off the market. We had all these other people that were going to pay more. And by this time, you could have already waited for their 20, 30,000 higher with their bank loans, thinking that this one was going to be easier, So a lot of those investors, they just send it, again, a blind offer. So everyone just needs to be aware of these blind offers, whether it's a real buyer who lives in another state, or it's an investor, or it's literally, they say they're a hedge fund company and they're buying a neighborhood. These are like red flags. You always want to have someone put their eyes on it prior to the purchase. If you're selling, or if you're a seller's agent, that's a key thing. And of course, if you actually have a real buyer, you want to make sure that they are happy with things. So a lot of things you don't see in the pictures are, so for instance, I'll walk in a house and you'll see all new windows in the front of the house. I'd say that that's pretty popular. And then you go to the back of the house and they're all the wind out windows. I want to say in Pasco, Beacon Woods, there's a lot like that in Tampa with the old, wind out windows and stuff like that. They'll have the brand new ones in the front. And then when you go to the back, Seminole Heights, they'll have the older windows in the back, which means some of them are locked up, sealed, But you don't know unless you go put your eyes on it. And I know it's gas prices so high, it's kind of a nuisance to have to drive out there and stuff. But at the end of the day, it's, you know, what we signed up for, so you got to go put eyes on it. I had one the other day. The pictures looked fantastic. And as soon as I walked in, and I love dogs, you guys know I have SPCA on here all the time, and but they had some stinky dogs, and they were the sweetest, cutest, kindest little dogs. But you know, my seller, my buyer, you know, she would never have known that. I would have never known that had I not gone in the house and you know, and told her, hey, it's a great house, it's beautiful. You can't see the buckling floors in here because maybe the dog had an accident in this room. So it literally looked like ripples in the floors, but on the pictures on the MLS looked fantastic. You know, there's this thing called filters, which, you know, they put on things so they kind of trick you. Anyway, all the floors were all wrecked. Smells like dog. You know, they did put an offer in anyway, but I told them, you know, full disclosure, you know, this is what's wrong with the house. And another thing too is, you know, most people smoke outside. Some people still smoke inside. And, you know, if you're a smoker, you don't mind it. But again, my buyers, if I don't go out and it smells like cigarettes, you know, that's another thing. You want to put eyes on it because you want to actually, and put nose on it at this point, and actually make sure it's good enough for your buyers. So, but everybody stay tuned. I'm going to go over how to get that bid on the next thing. So we're going to, you guys get your pen and paper out, we'll make a list and we'll go over it together. Stay tuned. Welcome back. I'm Jessie Walters with Charles Rutenberg. I'm here to tell you about buying and selling, and we're talking about buying. And right now, kind of exciting. June 1st, Ron DeSantis did a Hometown Heroes. I don't know if they're calling it a grant. Hometown Heroes housing program. What that means is that the firefighters and law enforcement, officers, educators, healthcare professionals, child care employees, active military or veterans, and they are doing a special, they have money allocated to help these people in this group purchase homes. I have one right now. I have a Hometown Hero pending, and what that means for me is because it just started June 1st, was I didn't have any idea as a selling agent what it was. So the first thing I had to do is become educated of what is a Hometown Hero, why does it say it for my finance, why does it say it on the contract, what is going on, and I'd heard briefly about it, but I did this quick educational thing, which was me reading as much as I could, sent it to my seller so that they could see because I'd never seen this before, and then she said, why are you sending me this? And I said, because I'm about to send you a great contract over, and part of it is this Hometown Hero. And Hometown Hero that Ron DeSantis had made and allocated money for the closing costs for this group of people. Basically up to $15,000 each person. It's almost like it is a second mortgage that they're doing. And I'm not sure on the repayment of it, exactly how it works. The buyer's agent wasn't sure exactly how it's going. We just, it's brand new. But if you are in that category, you need closing cost money. It's awesome for you because this money is available. There's quite a bit of it. And we had that link that was up on the screen. You guys can go on there and Google it and stuff and see if that's something that you could help you out. You can use it with a conventional mortgage or FHA. So if you're having problems with either one of those getting money down, or you want some assistance just because it's, it's a great opportunity, that's awesome too. So that's that was the Hometown Hero, and that's pretty interesting and stuff. Now the other program I had for buyers was, which we had gone over before, was the Ribbons program. There was basically three different areas of the Ribbons program. And basically what it was is turning your purchase from a conventional loan into a cash purchase. So it was how to do it through a company. No, it's not free. It's like 1%, 2%, or 3% depending on which category you fit in or you want. Just summarizing it real quick, but basically, say you're a buyer and you go in, you keep getting beat out. You keep getting beat out by everybody, and you want to put a cash offer in. So this company takes your approval. Delenn from the mortgage firm can explain it way better than me, but I can just give you like the brief, quick, how to turn your conventional mortgage into a cash purchase, and it's going to cost you 1%. And basically, they're going to pre-approve you, and then you're going to be ready to go. And then as soon as you find that property and you're going to put a bid in, for instance, this one right here, it's 303. They'll put in the most that they will pay for cash over that purchase price. So you can come in with your cash offer. There is a box checked with an addendum that shows it is a Ribbons purchase, but it also shows on your contract, checked box cash. So it doesn't say conventional and it's being turned into this cash purchase through Ribbons. It comes through on that selling agent's desk as cash, has an addendum that it's going through the Ribbon program, but literally it's guaranteed cash purchase. So as soon as you go to put the address into, your lender puts the address into the computer through this program, they tell you the most cash that they would give on that house. And then the Ribbons program then converts it after they purchase it, after you go to closing, back to your purchase, and it costs you 1%. So 1% on $350,000 is $3,500. It's a great opportunity and a great idea, but also you got to think about, you're paying $10,000, $20,000 over with your conventional mortgage just to beat the other conventional mortgages, where cash, you can go a little teeny bit over and get the deal. So with the cash offer, they're literally cutting out that whole war thing. It's probably saving you money in the long run, because even though you're paying the 1%, if it's 303 and you can go up to, say with the Ribbons, you go to 310, and so 310, now put that 10% on, that costs you 314, 315. Now you'd have to go 320, 325 with the conventional mortgage. You literally just saved yourself $10,000, if that makes any sense to you whatsoever. But anyway, it's a great program. Again, it's going to cost you 1% to turn your conventional mortgage into a cash purchase and beat out everybody. That's a great idea for buyers. If you guys need help, just call me. We can work that out for you, and I can tell you all about it. I have one right now that I'm trying to convince them to turn into the Ribbons program, because they're scared of what we have to do right now with buyers is, if they ask, how do I get the actual purchase, I have to say, first you got to look at it, obviously. Then we got to write up a contract. We got to go over the price. And they say, okay, and what if it doesn't appraise? Well, the seller would really like to see an appraisal waiver. What's an appraisal waiver? Well, if it's $300 and we offer $310, and it appraises for $300, you have to come up with $10,000 extra. Can they include that in my mortgage? No. That's $10,000 out of your bank account. Do you have that? Some people have it, some people don't. Some people don't want to spend it, extra cash like that just to win the property. Some people are desperate. They'll say, $10,000, I'll give them $20,000 over, I have the cash. But if you have someone who is conservatively buying and then moving, and maybe they have like storage and rentals and trucks and kids, and there's a whole other, bunch of moving parts, they may not want to do that appraisal waiver. But appraisal waivers are awesome if you have that cash. So there's appraisal waiver. Then there's also the home inspection period. a lot of people are waiving these inspection periods. Do we suggest this? As realtors, everyone is trained to say, for your protection, get a home inspection. That's pretty much from day dot of being a realtor. That's what they taught you. That's what you're supposed to do, is to suggest a home inspection. Now with the crazy market, they'll say, should we get a home inspection? Totally up to you. A lot of people will waive them now, but we could put 5 days if you have a home inspector. Like I always say, who's lined up, who will do one for you. I have a home inspector who will do one 3 to 5 days, so I can put 3 to 5 days on there for the home inspection to make it look good. But again, a lot of them are waiving the appraisal and no home inspection. If it's a newer home, you might want to take a chance on it, maybe, but if it's an older home, there could be different things that could cost you more money in the long run without the home inspection, but that's totally up to you. So those are 2 key things, excuse me, and then we always say the love letter, which has to be very vague, and that is the letter to the seller saying how great their house is and how much you would like to live there with your family, raise your family in their house. Or, raise yourself if it's just you, you know what I mean? Or you and your golden retriever, or whatever it is, in their house. Those letters, like I was saying when Dylan was here from the mortgage firm, we were talking about those. And there was a lawsuit because it turned into, you have to just be careful on, I guess, what is it? Like how much you narrow it down. You can't put, you can't put anything of prejudice in these letters because if they don't pick you, then you could possibly feel that they were being prejudiced against you. So best thing is to keep it vague, and like I always say, keep it light. But tell them how much you love their house and how much you would like to live in their house and raise your family or your dog just the way they raised theirs or their dogs. The key thing too is to find out what the seller's closing date is. What's their dream date? What date do they want to move by? Do they need 2 months to move? Bam, there's 2 months. Do they want to be out in 3 weeks? Bam, try to do 3 weeks. Depending on what the seller wants, try to match that. Don't put what you would want. Don't put what your agent thinks 30 days is a normal close. If someone needs 3 weeks, call your lender and ask if they can do faster. 30 days is going to be the norm. So automatically a agent will put 30 days, but it only takes a couple of minutes to reach out to that seller's agent and say, do you guys need more time? Is there anything I can put on this to make it better for your seller? Sometimes the seller will say, I really want the refrigerator, and the buyer will say, I want the house, and they will not exclude the refrigerator. But the seller loves this refrigerator, has a TV in it, they spent $6,000 on it, it's a big deal. They want that TV refrigerator in there, in the contract to be excluded. If your agent misses that, unless your whole offer is fantastic, they're going to say, well, they were going to keep your refrigerator anyway, and that's $6,000. So make sure that it's a clean contract. Make sure that, you're like I said, matching that closing date. I had one we got was there was cabinets attached in the bedrooms. The seller wanted to keep the cabinets attached to the bedrooms, and they also wanted to the TV attachments and the Ring doorbells. The new contracts in the state of Florida have included Ring doorbells and the TV, not the TVs, but the actual attachments on the walls. Those have to stay per contract now. It's literally in the black and white part of the contract. So if you have a seller who really wants that stuff and they noted it, make sure you put that as excluded from the contract, Ring doorbell. It sounds funny, but sometimes people just get stuck on these little things. They'll be like, this contract's almost perfect, but this Ring doorbell, which costs $50, they want to take it with them. Make sure you put that in there so that they can take the stuff that means a lot to them with them. And it doesn't turn into some type of mess later. Or if you want all their furniture, you can put that on an addendum separately. I offer them this much for the furniture. Be real careful of putting items that are not part of the home on the contract as extra that your buyer wants. So a buyer wants the sofa in the living room and buyer wants the extra refrigerator in the garage. Write an addendum and put buyer requests this, because you don't want to release, you don't want the bank to see all this extra stuff as part of the value that you're getting on the contract price. So in other words, I want all of the furnishings included. Well, how much do you think all the furnishings are worth? A couple $1,000. Okay, we're offering $500,000 for this house with all the furnishings. So when an appraiser sees that all the furnishings are in there, that's value to them. They don't want to see that you're, maybe if you put no charge, it won't be as bad. But I always say, we're not furniture salespeople. Keep it separate. Put a separate addendum if there's something, with golf carts, just different things I've seen. They want the golf cart. They want the spa. They want the big items that have value. Don't put those on your contract, because the appraiser is going to come and give those things value, and it's going to come out of your price of your house. So it's going to make confusion, and it's going to make you more paperwork than you need. This one extra sheet with your contract, and then if it doesn't work out, if they say no, we're not selling any of this, they can just crumble it up, and you still have a contract at least. So you have an addendum that says buyer wants all the furnishings in the house and the spa and the golf cart separately. And then maybe you're going to pay that out of closing separately. Buyer and seller agree. Buyer will pay, blank for this stuff at closing. But keep those off the contract. Try to make this contract as clean as possible. Again, try to appease your seller with what they want. And if it's a new agent, you want to, don't call them up and educate them on things that they should or should not do on their contracts. You want to make sure everybody is comfortable with each other. A lot of times agents, I had one the other day. My seller's in the house. The agent thinks that the seller is another agent, so she's very rude to my seller, and then she says, "Oh, are you Jessie? Are you the seller's agent?" She said no, and she just went in the other room because she's actually the seller. So now literally you've handed them a card. Now the seller knows who the agent who's very rude is. And so do you think they're going to want to do business with you? And that happened to me too. I was in Tampa. I was showing a condo. I was limited on time. We had like 20 people who wanted to see it. The first day it was on the market. And so I literally was sitting outside on the steps, so I wasn't interfering with people, and I didn't feel like sitting in my car any longer. Sitting outside on the steps, and an agent, they walked by, and they went into the house, and then my customer showed up, and I said, hey, do you mind if we show this half the house? Because I had to go. I had already sat there for like an hour showing people, had to go back to Pasco, show another property, and she says, well, we're not really finished here yet. And I said, okay, would you mind if we start on this side, and then we'll wait outside on the porch till you get to the other side? And she said, I guess so. Well, wait a minute, are you the listing agent? And I said, yes, I am. And she's like, oh, sure, go ahead, you can see it, that's no problem. So then she was great and really nice and stuff, but like try to be just, like, I know it's very competitive and a lot of people are fighting and stuff for the properties, but if you're a buyer and you're out on the property, don't take it personal that there's other buyers. Don't give them the stink eye. Don't buyers agents, don't be mean to each other. Be polite and everything. You never know when either that's going to be the seller or it's a relative of somebody, or maybe the neighbors are going to walk over and say, hey, I saw how polite you were, can you list my house? There's things that are going to play, or maybe it's just good karma, or it's just the way the world should work, that you should be nice to people when you're showing houses. But these items I go over with because this is the market right now. So you have these contracts that have to be perfect, but then also you must also be on best behavior by when you go out to a property, you're not rude to other people, because even as buyers, you may go out there and you may see some loud, obnoxious kids and make a point about it, and then it's the seller's kids. So you have to make sure that you're on best behavior, representing your family just like, as best as you can, and your buyer's agents representing, be loving, have a good attitude, and even if you write up 10 of them to get the one, you still, you're eventually going to get it. You just have to stay determined, and like I said, don't be like an Eeyore. If you're a buyer, we're never going to get this, think positively, have your agent put together a solid offer, and like I said, fine tune it. If you need to go through, if they're new, and say, hey, is this the date the seller wants? Ask those key things. It's very important to make sure everybody's on the same page when it comes to contracts and closing and buying. That way, when everybody meets at the closing table, it's all, it's all good and good vibes. Hope everything I went over with today helped you. If you got one thing out of it, I did my job. You guys have a great weekend, and we will meet again soon.